Okay, here we go. Here's another cube in a sphere. Yet another one. This one comes to us from, doesn't say, but Sir Madalox, Cyberpunk has a post that I'll include this in the comments. I don't know where this is coming from though, but it's definitely coming from somewhere. So let's look at it. Look at it real quick. This one won't take a lot of time. So you can see here, immediately we have a cube object inside, and it's clearly inside of a type of sphere, some sort of energy bubble or whatever you want to call it. This is the original down here. This is just it zoomed in, and the colors cleaned up and everything. So there's a couple of things that are interesting to show here. I want to demonstrate what happens when cameras move a lot and they try to record. So when there's a lot of movement, and you can see it in where I'm doing the tracking. So if you see in the top frame, it's moving a lot. And what happens is the compression algorithms are always doing averaging. They're trying to put into coordinate spaces averages of luminosity and color and at least some level of detail. And what they like to do is, if there's a wide spot that's the same color and the same luminosity, it will just create one block space that has that color in it. So you'll see, it's sometimes when you see things that are really, really compressed hard, you see a bunch of like blocks all over them, which just looks blotchy, right? And that's just the compression algorithm. So it's the same thing here. When there's a lot of movement, it just gets torn apart. And that's why you get these really strange looks. This is not the object morphing or changing shapes or anything like that. This is literally just the camera. Well, it's actually, it's a combination of things. It's the camera's stability system trying to stabilize, and this will happen during electronic stabilization a lot. And it's also in the compression, right? So the compression's trying to figure out how to compress down into different spaces the data, so that way it takes up less space. But when the camera moves less, and that's what happens, you start to get a resolution. It needs to stay still for a few moments. The way the compression works is it will, every certain number of frames, it will refresh the entirety of the whole plate, the whole image. So if you can hold your camera still for long enough, it will be able to resolve whatever it is looking at more thoroughly, because it'll have less change in it. And that's what happens here. And that's when you see these really good frames that are getting pulled out. It's because the camera was held still enough for long enough. And you can see it's pretty still here. So what that does is this raises the confidence of what's the actual shape and color of the object. And that's why it's so important to keep your phones steady, keep them still, to try to allow the software to, build the image, because it really is doing that. It's building the image over a series of frames. So this is the best frame out of all of them. The camera was the most still. I have pretty high confidence that this is the shape. You can see that the way the sunlight is hitting it, it's actually reflecting off of the top, and it trails off along the bottom. So the light from the sun is actually reflecting off of the bubble around this. It's not reflecting off the object below it. It's on the bubble. Okay. That's what I'm assessing here. And yeah, that's so you can see very clearly for the frames ahead of it, it's starting to resolve out the box or the cube, and then even further, then it's starting to able to actually capture and resolve out the whatever it is that's surrounding it. So here we go. Enjoy another cube in a sphere.